I just bought a POS computer. And no, I'm not talking about a really bad computer, I'm talking about a point of sale computer. One that would be used in a restaurant or a cafe or something like that, and I got it for a reasonable price off of eBay. I haven't actually seen it in person, and I have no idea exactly what it's going to be like, apart from it not having an operating system, so let's open up the box and take a look.
I honestly forgot that I even bought this, costing just 89 Australian dollars including shipping, and given the size and heft of the box, I'm glad that shipping was included. Let's just say that. And delving inside, we get a promising amount of bubble wrap. You'd be surprised how many people neglect to use this stuff when sending devices through the post. And for some reason, when I saw that this had a 15-inch display, I thought that it would be quite small and light. I was very wrong. So it's a very good thing that the sender used a lot of bubble wrap, otherwise this would have likely suffered some damage. And the best part is I can reuse that bubble wrap when I inevitably need to post something, and you'd be surprised how expensive it is these days. And here we have it. You can tilt it back and forward somewhat, and with most of the connectors under this lockable rear door. This is clearly designed with durability in mind, as you would likely need in a retail setting. I really dig the design. It's simple, what you could call industrial, with what looks to be plenty of ventilation for the computer within. It could definitely do with a good cleaning though. That screen is quite grubby, and thankfully it did not require a special power adapter. It simply uses a standard IEC C13 cable, and after realizing that you have to press the capacitive button on the front, it fired into life. After a bit, this information shows up on screen, telling us we have 8GB of RAM, a 128GB SSD, and an Intel i5 6300U CPU. There is, to my surprise, touchscreen support right in the BIOS, which is something I've never seen before. I decided to plug in my Linux Mint USB, which ran absolutely fine. Touchscreen support was not an issue, and it turns out that there is a small screen on the rear for displaying prices, much like a cash register. It simply says the word OK, meaning all is well, and Linux also seemed to install without any issues, which is nice. With all the drivers seemingly installed, it appears that the system has no built-in Wi-Fi, but that's nothing a little USB dongle can't fix. There are plenty of USB ports to choose from. I used one of the 5V ones, being unsure if the other ones would work or not with this dongle. It worked straight away and I could connect to our network, but the signal strength was low. Which kinda makes sense given that the dongle was hidden underneath the rear door. An even better spot is this port on the side under a rubber flap. This yielded a much stronger wireless connection. Now it's time to install a few programs. You can now run almost every Windows compatible game on Linux thanks to the compatibility layer called Proton. But first, this device needs a good wipe down. It's somewhat filthy, and using some glass cleaner and a microfiber cloth, we can see that the casing is in surprisingly great shape. The rear display appears to be entirely covered with plastic, which would likely have helped with durability. The method to getting inside one of these wasn't all that obvious, but I eventually realized this panel slides down, revealing a bit of dust. I really do wonder how long this POS was used for. It can't be all that old, and I actually bought this back in August. Here we can confirm that the date of manufacture was actually the 25th of January 2021, which is surprising given that the processor in here was first released at the end of 2015. But honestly, this computer didn't have to be all that powerful given what it was designed to do. The 8GB of RAM can easily be upgraded, and the M.2 SSD is also accessible. Apparently there is also a slot for a second drive, however I can't see it. And how do we take it apart further? I really had no idea and couldn't seem to find any guides online. The FPOS card reader and rear display assembly do appear to come off though. This would make for an easy replacement if it was to get damaged by an unhappy customer. It even has a USB port, purpose unknown, I'd say a potential dongle location for a wireless barcode scanner perhaps, and the symbol here seems to suggest that there's an SD card slot. However, it seems likely that this particular model doesn't have it. It seems like this was highly configurable when originally purchased, and if you wanted onboard sound, you were pretty much out of luck. There was, however, a speaker kit available as an optional extra, although if this was being used in a traditional point of sale situation, I doubt you would have needed speakers. And how on earth do you open this thing up further? I guess I'll have to remove the base. Being built like a tank was absolutely necessary, and if you're aware of any disassembly guides, please comment down below. The mechanism for tilting this computer is surprisingly simple. I'd imagine this was far less prone to breaking or accidental damage compared to a more traditional hinged display, and we are now slightly closer to getting inside this device. 6 more Phillips head screws securely hold the cable management plate in place, and boy were they in there pretty tight. Toshiba really didn't want people to get in here it seems, and I had to push this plastic piece out of the way. It didn't seem obvious to me how exactly these plastic pieces were held on. Perhaps there was another screw hidden on the other side, and I can't see any obvious way to take it apart further. It's really well put together, and clearly this was designed for a very specific set of tasks. And I've never seen these other 12 and 24 volt USB ports. Perhaps they supply extra power to other point of sale specific devices. And that also means I won't be able to see just how crusty the thermal paste had become. But at least this system has a lot more airflow than a conventional laptop. I say laptop as the processor in here is a mobile chip, designed for laptops and low-powered devices. And since this originally ran Windows 10, which is at end of life now, perhaps the business sold this off due to the processor not being officially supported by Windows 11. And of course, point-of-sale machines like this would have likely been connected to huge corporate networks, with security being very important. But can it play games? Let's find out. Starting off with a relatively easy title to run, we've got Super Tuxcart. A staple of Linux gaming is totally playable on here. The display is only 1024 by 768, which means less pixels to push and greater performance as a result. The latest version of Minecraft, with the render distance set to 12 and graphics set to fast, is also very playable. It feels weird to me playing a game on a 4x3 display. I'm so used to having a much wider screen. War never changes. But can this play Fallout New Vegas? If there isn't a lot of gunfire or explosions happening, it runs at a playable frame rate. But once things start to get a bit more hectic, it really becomes Slideshow City. Running the Halo Master Chief Collection on a POS running Linux feels so right. It's totally how Microsoft wanted you to play it. Halo 3 running at 1024 by 768 in performance mode is somewhat playable. The game maintains about 30 frames per second fairly consistently. In its current configuration, this angular, industrial-looking machine can somewhat play games, but I must admit that the touchscreen is rather basic. Designed with durability in mind, there is no multi-touch, and it is not like using a tablet or modern smartphone.
Hey there, just like to grab these today, thanks. Beep, beep.
Is that going to be on card or cash today, mate?
I'll grab those on card, thanks mate.
Okay, cool. So that comes to a total of, okay.
A total of okay? What do you mean a total of okay?
Yeah. A total of okay.
Yeah, I did actually try to install some open source point of sale software. However, I couldn't get it to work with my limited knowledge. So many aspects of this device feel alien to me. It's clearly not designed for general use, but it will play full HD YouTube videos without any problem. It's clearly not too outdated yet, and as Linux becomes better for gaming, will anyone really need to use Windows? Only time will tell.
So there we have it. Now I can open my very own restaurant. I'll mainly be serving chips of the computer variety. I'm just kidding. Anyway, this was a really odd thing to see go up for sale, and I'm glad I bought one because it was interesting. However, what am I going to do with it now? Well, that's a very good question. Maybe I'll try and sell it on, but honestly, it's a pretty niche thing, and I got to admit, most businesses aren't looking to buy a computer that's this old anyway. Thanks for watching. I hope you've at least enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun, so I'll see you in the next one.